All right. Welcome back to another episode of Rob and Avis Ramble. We have actually our very first time ever having guests. First guest.
First victims.
Yeah, first victims. No, hopefully they're not going to feel like victims.
No.
And I have no idea if this is going to be a moment for Mike and Ginger that are going to say, wow, we were the very first guest they had before they blew up. Or if they're going to say, I can't believe we wasted our time talking to those people. I don't know what's going to happen. Right? So anyways, Mike and Ginger, welcome. Glad to have you guys.
Thank you.
Thanks for inviting us.
Yeah, I know you guys are one of the accounts that we like to interact with on X. And I think we probably align on like, I don't know, 80% of the stuff that we believe. I think I see a lot of crossover and things, but there's also some things that we probably don't. And that's true with everybody, right? Like we're all kind of like that, but it's always a good measure to me of people that can still kind of disagree but still conversate, right? And have real conversations, because at the end of the day, that's what it's all about. Do you guys want to just maybe a quick introduction about yourselves, and then I got something I'm going to ask you.
Oh, okay. You or me?
Well, I'll start and then you finish.
Okay.
So
that's not usually how it goes.
I just figure whatever I forget, you'll remember. So.
Oh, okay.
So we're Canadians. So we left the country in November 2021.
Yep.
We're down in Costa Rica. Mm-hmm. We've got nearly 3-acre farm. We raise ducks and chickens and turkeys, and we have a YouTube channel, Play It Again with Mike and Ginger, where we react to music videos. Mm-hmm. And we're just living life down here outside of, what Canada has become. Let's put it that way.
Yes.
What'd I miss?
Not a lot, I guess, right? Like, just spending a lot of time on X, especially me, a lot of time on X. And I have people actually say to me all the time, how are you tweeting so much when you also do all of the other things that you do? I was like, it's always in my pocket. I literally just
in between the hammers. You're
queen of multitasking.
Hey, it gets warm here. You got to stop for a drink. Might as well.
You do. Yeah.
Pull up X.
It's true.
So let me ask you just real quick. This is not the question I was going to ask, but you mentioned 2021. So did you guys end up with this kind of the thing that kind of drove you guys out of Canada?
Yes, yeah. We both decided that the vax was not a good bet, and we got it 1 week or so before, a little less than a week before they locked us out of all the planes and trains and boats to get out of the country for nobody knew how long. It turned out to be 6 months or a year. A little longer, maybe.
At least 6 months for sure.
But we didn't know if we would be locked in there for life, so we got the hell out of Dodge while the getting was good.
Yeah,
that's crazy. So was this kind of like you guys are like, hey, we're getting out of Canada and we're like moving away and we're gonna like go, then kind of when all that arranged, you were out of there just literally, right before you wouldn't be able to, or?
Well, I mean, we were working towards it. It was in the plan for like the following February or something. We were gonna start making our move, but then the government announced that they were going to essentially lock in anybody who wasn't vaccinated. You couldn't get on a plane or a train and you couldn't cross the border because the US wasn't letting anybody who was not vaccinated. So we had to accelerate the plan. Actually, when we left, our house wasn't even sold yet. Like it was on the market, and we left it kind of in the hands of friends and our real estate agent, and had to do everything remote after that because we didn't know if we were even going to be able to go back at all, and not a lot of desire to go back if that was the way things were going to be. So
we've been down here a few months when my employer dropped the hammer on a vax and return to office mandate, and then I guess I don't work there anymore. So.
Yeah. He was working remote when we first came for 6 months or
4 months, I think. Yeah.
Yeah. So they were good about letting him work remote. But then when they said, well, you'll have to come back to the office now and you'll have to be vaccinated, he said, well, I guess I'm retiring early now. So
wow. I can't imagine.
We just stayed. So
it's just so crazy.
Canadian refugees.
Yeah.
It's in my bio.
Is it?
Yeah.
I mean, we've never been to Costa Rica, but I'm sure it's a beautiful place to live. Humid, but beautiful. Yeah.
We love it. I would
Cool.
never go
And
back.
I've seen some of the pictures you've posted on X. You have like a volcano or something behind your house, right? Something like
Yeah,
that.
we're right on the border with Panama. So from our rancho, the volcano we have is the Baru volcano in Panama. It's their
Okay.
only volcano.
It's about 20 miles as the crow flies.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
Mm.
Pretty
We're
close.
only about 5 or 6 miles from the border at the nearest point here.
Okay.
Yeah. So it's
So-
nice and close, but not too close.
So if that were to kind of wake up, you guys would maybe up close and personal with kind of knowing what's going on with that.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
I mean, it's dormant now, right? Like,
Yeah. For about
Yeah.
500 years.
so.
Yeah. Yeah. That's good. Ginger's making sure with Mike it's dormant, right? Are we gonna have to move again? Are we? What's happening here?
We've had
Hear me, please.
Yeah.
we've had several people we know from X come down, and we always try to hook up with them. And one guy was very, very worried about where he might settle if he comes down in relation to volcanoes. So
Yeah, I can understand that.
we didn't really think much about it, you know.
Yeah.
No, well, I thought a little bit about it, but I really love volcanoes, so it wouldn't actually bother me if it erupted, as long as it didn't do like a Mount St. Helens kind of
Right.
thing, right?
Yeah.
But like
Yeah.
lava flowing down would actually just enhance the experience
Yeah,
for
we
me.
get good video while we drink our coffee in the morning.
Right.
If it did.
Yeah, that would be
It would be
fun.
pretty.
Yeah. It reminds me a little bit of the what was the movie with the meteorite? And it's like everybody just kind of resigns to, well, this is it. Just gonna get my coffee and go out on the beach and
What else are
know?
you going to do, right?
yeah.
Exactly.
So cool. All right. Well, enough of that. Let's dive into something more controversial.
We
So-
fled our country because of COVID mandates. Let's get into something more controversial.
That's not controversial. That's not nearly as controversial as some of the stuff happening on X right now.
Not in this room.
Yeah,
Okay.
not in this
True.
one, right. We're all in agreement there. So Ginger and I, when I originally had reached out to you about potentially us getting together and having a chat, you had made a post that went kind of viral. I don't know how viral it went. I can't remember, but I know it was getting a lot of views and a lot of talk, and I saw people sharing it and this whole kind of thing about you sounds like you drive quite a bit. When you and Mike are together in the car, you do quite a bit of driving. And that got some people upset. It's not the dynamic in our relationship, but whatever's working for you is fine.
Yeah.
But I just thought it might be something fun to kind of talk about, because just how crazy some people got about it. So could you fill us in? Like, I tried to find the post before I jumped on here and I couldn't find it.
Oh, I'm sorry. If you said
The
something,
sheer
I
volume of
dug
her
it up.
posts.
Yeah. Yeah. No, it's totally fine.
75,000 posts or something.
Oh, wow. Yeah, I'm nowhere near that. So what was the gist of it?
I don't recall exactly, but yeah, I did mention the whole, you know what? No, it was one of those, let's just say, overly traditional, the Bible thumping type of dudes. I can't remember his name specifically, but said something about if you let your wife drive, you're gay.
Okay.
Oh.
I do remember that now that you say that.
I'm
It
like-
was something. Yeah.
That's the dumbest
Wait,
thing I've
I'm
ever
the worst
heard.
gay ever.
You
Yeah.
really are.
Mike was like, I had no idea.
Oh, I had no idea either, but I mean that happens, but it doesn't
So-
happen to us.
Your post was in response to that, or his post was in response to yours?
No, my post was in response to that because it's ridiculous to start with. I mean, I
Yeah.
understand and appreciate traditional gender roles. I understand and appreciate a lot the whole need for the man to be the lead in a relationship and whatnot. I get it, right? Like, and I, more than a lot of women, agree with most of that. But there are practical things that need to be considered, right? First of all, I love to drive. Like, I love driving. It's one of the things I almost love most. And when I was younger, came very close to becoming a professional race car driver. So, like, to tell me I can't drive, you're taking away something that I actually really, truly
Yeah.
enjoy. But why?
And
But
not
because
to be
your
negative.
ego will get damaged? Like,
Not
that's
to be
a silly-
negative, but she's a terrible passenger.
I am a terrible
She's,
passenger.
she's a bold, brave driver and the most cowardly passenger riding the imaginary brake
I
you've ever
was going
seen.
to get to that.
I know
okay?
you were.
I was.
I was gonna say something that now I'm questioning if I should say it. But,
Go ahead.
This makes me nervous.
I'm gonna say
that
it.
always makes me nervous.
I'm gonna say it anyways. But you know, my mom's been married 3 times.
Mhm.
Okay. And she has always been like she drives in all her relationships, right? And I've kind of wondered, like, she doesn't like being the passenger. And I've often kind of wondered, well, is that is this one of the things you can step back and go, well, of course her marriages don't work. She doesn't like being the passenger, right? But now you're kind of blowing that out of the water. See, I was going to say that, and I was like, well, now I don't know that that's true. Mike and Ginger are proving me wrong on that. So,
Yeah.
Well, I mean, some of it is a control thing, right? Like I've always been very fiercely independent, like just
Yeah.
generally for my whole life. I've always been a here, I'll do it kind of person. So just by nature, I tend to like to take care of myself, right? So relying on other people is hard for me to do a lot. And I'm not always gracious about it. So I need someone, like, it's a good thing that Mike is generally very tolerant of that. But also I bring competency with me, right? Like a lot of women like to be control freaks, but they're not competent. So all I do is make a mess and make everybody around them miserable, right? But I'm happy to take charge and do a fine enough job of it. So it's kind of works out. But yeah, some of it is just fear too, right? Like,
Yeah.
especially on the roads here, it's very hard to be a passenger on the roads here. They're very, very dangerous. And I'm just a nervous passenger no matter what anyway.
We're both good drivers, and I'm a better passenger. So it's
Yeah.
just less stressful for everybody if we do it that way, really.
Yeah. We also, I mean, when we had kids in the house, between all of our custody schedules and all their schools where they went, because they went to school in their, like his kids went to school in their mom's town, which was like 50 kilometers away from us and whatnot, and going to work, he'd spend 3 hours every morning and 3 hours in the evening driving.
Oof.
Just to do work and custody and come home and whatnot. So when we didn't have to do that anymore, and I'm like, I'd rather drive, he's like, I'm happy to let you drive.
Yeah,
he's just driven out, right? Like he's done.
I bought a brand new car and put about 200,000 miles on it in 5 years.
Holy cow. You did a lot of driving.
So
Yeah,
I've done a lot. I really don't feel an overpowering urge that I have to be behind the wheel anymore. I like to drive still in small doses, but I was kind of fried.
Yeah. And as I'm listening to you talk, what's something that's kind of coming to mind is, apart from this, was the guy a pastor that made the post about being gay?
Yeah, I think he was.
I think he was. Yeah.
I'm trying to remember his name, but
the pastor who threw out the mandate that you're gay if your wife drives.
Me, Rob.
But I'm thinking there's kind of like, what was that?
I said he just wants me.
He just wants you. Hey, maybe. Yeah. I mean, some of that stuff's going on in the church, man. I don't know. Yeah. But I think there's an alternative view, maybe, right, that you guys are shining a light on that actually might make argument that Mike's actually it's a very manly thing that he's doing, right? Because listening to you, Ginger, and saying like you have this, kind of you're a bad passenger, right? Like maybe you're like more of like a fearful passenger, and Mike kind of saying, well, you know what? I'll put my life on the line and I'll sit in the passenger seat to give you some comfort, right?
I'm a good driver.
but that is a good kind of leader quality kind of thing to do, and a good leader sometimes has to sacrifice themselves. I'm saying in this case to for the betterment of the group that he's leading, and this is maybe like an alternative way to think about that. Is that Mike's doing it out of because he cares about you and he loves you and he's leading in that way to what's best for your marriage is to let you drive, and that's what's best for you and best for him.
Mm-hmm.
So I kind of get that.
Yeah. I don't really enjoy the looks I get from the Ticos. Very macho down here.
Yeah,
right?
The locals.
I mean,
this is
but
very
I have a
confusing dynamic for them.
I get that. I mean, I see a chick driving her man around, and I'm gonna say it. I have the same thought, but I hate to drive.
Yeah.
And I am probably the best passenger ever. Like the part of my brain that should protect me in the passenger seat does not exist. Probably like, oh my God, we almost died. And I'm like, really? My boat is really good. Are you sure?
Yeah, she's good. One of our pastimes, like we do a lot of off-road driving and sometimes do some really crazy, stupid stuff that you probably shouldn't be doing. And Ava, she's like an excellent passenger in that stuff all the time, which is fun for me.
I can be hanging out the window. Wow, that's a sheer drop.
Yeah, I'm sure you guys have off roads in Costa Rica, probably, right? Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Same.
Well, I mean, part of the dynamic too. A good leader knows how to delegate.
Yeah.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Right. Like, if I was not competent or I was a nervous driver, then it would not be responsible for my husband to delegate that to me when I want to, right? That would just be frivolous. But well, I also do like the bulk of the errands that we need, right? Going to get feed for the birds or grocery shopping or whatever. So, yeah, the fact that I'm good at it, it works for him because he knows that I'm not going to screw it up.
Yeah. Not that you should have to defend your position, but you do defend it very well, and it makes perfect sense.
Thank you.
And it works out. So I apologize for judging you if I've ever seen you driving down the road.
Here's the thing: don't care.
Right?
Like a healthy dose of we know what's going on between us.
Yeah,
we're both happy with the arrangement.
Oh yeah.
And what some rando on the street thinks as we drive by really doesn't matter.
I'll tell you what, Mike, we're kind of newbies to X. Like I don't, this hasn't really been a thing. I mean, we just kind of started getting involved and out there and doing stuff we weren't doing before on X and kind of got this little passion project together we're doing. But I'm very quickly, I think, learning to kind of adopt the attitude that what you're talking about with some of these interactions I'm having with people. And it's just like at some point, I just got to be like, I don't give a fuck. I don't know. Like, this is stupid, right? Like, yeah.
We come together in the kitchen in the evening and tell each other all the terrible things people have said. I'm like, Rob, do you know this about yourself? And then I just cackle. I'm like, you're a terrible husband. Did you know that?
Yeah.
The trolls have no idea how much the two of us will just sit across from each other with our phones in our hands and just laugh and laugh and laugh with each other at the ridiculous things that people will say about us.
Yeah.
Because I mean, I've posted many times before that like just a litany of the things that I deal with in a day and saying, you think you calling me an old lady is the biggest problem I've dealt with today. This is nothing, and it does not bother me.
She's so good at just letting it all roll off. I'm pretty good, but I will admit I have a couple of pain points where I will curse people out on X. So when it comes to the COVID stuff, particularly like, oh, why don't y'all just get over it? Like I said, well, I'm still unemployed. I lost my job of 23 years. I haven't spoken to my father in 4 years.
You haven't even spoken to your father? Is that because of like a family rift? Because of
his dad won't talk.
He was very, very pro-vax, and in Canada more so than in the U.S. The sentiment among most people, many people, was that mandates were good and everybody should take this thing. And
the granny killer accusation was for real in Canada.
He was very much on board with that, and this is the kind of thing that enabled the government to lock us out of international transport. It enabled my employer to put down a mandate to make me choose between being a guinea pig and keeping my paycheck after 23 years.
Yeah.
And I chose not to be a guinea pig, which meant I couldn't afford to live there anymore. So, we came down here where, we sell our Canadian property, have no mortgage down here, live on a lot less. Well, you kind of forced me into that. You and millions of people with that attitude. He's in his 70s. He was, I'm sure, counting on me to be around as he got old and help, which was always how I pictured everything would go. Mm-hmm. But you kind of backed me into a corner. And then when I left, he kept trying a few more times to convince me to get the vax. And I said, oh, look, you just got to stop. And he just stopped answering emails.
Yeah.
Yeah. And the thing that's so sad about that is like, you would think eventually like it would kind of be let go, because we're how many years post this now, right? Like clearly you didn't need the vax. You haven't died. You're a healthy person, right? Like at some point, don't you wake up and kind of say, yeah, you know what? I was a little ridiculous about this.
Well, to be honest, I think at this point, I mean, I'm kind of committed to this lifestyle change because I don't have property to sell here. I can afford to move back there. That economy continues to get worse. Housing is in a crisis up there. I'm not coming back, you know? And I think he's at least as much mad about me abandoning him as he is mad that I didn't get the vax. So I don't think that'll ever get better. And to be honest, I have some personality traits in common, and I understand that I don't fucking need you. I'm never reaching out to you. And I got that from him. So
isn't it funny how we all kind of end up like our parents a little bit?
No, I don't see that changing, unfortunately. I mean, I'm of course open to hear from him and whatnot, but you know, when he didn't answer my Christmas greeting and his birthday greeting and Father's Day greeting, you know, that's 3 strikes. I'll wait to hear.
I'm really sorry that you're dealing with that.
Yeah.
That's I was estranged from my father pretty much my whole life too. So like I kind of empathize with that a little bit. I know how that goes. But you know, I'm mostly okay. I've got a few ticks from it here and there that I've developed, but you know, it's
yeah, I'm sure me too by now.
Yeah.
But anyway, that's where I was going. Like on X, I can let almost anything go, but when it comes to the COVID stuff,
that's just so deep. Yeah.
And the people who get so mad that I left Canada, it's like, good, get out, stay out. We don't need you. We need people to stay and fight. I'm like, dude, we need people to stay and fight 30 years ago, 50 years ago when Trudeau was bringing in the charter that empowers the government, not me. I'm bringing in the Canada Health Act, bringing in official multiculturalism. We needed the fighters 50 years ago. You're way too late. Like it's done. It's cooked. And people get very offended at that opinion, and they're pretty nasty about it. So those 2 kind of trigger points, I have a much harder time not getting into a blue language laced tirade and fight with people on X. But otherwise,
I love it when they call us cowards.
Otherwise, I'm pretty chill.
Cowards because you left Canada? It's
important issues, right?
Because we didn't stay and fight.
Yeah.
I've been fighting.
But what does that mean?
Years.
I mean, are they expecting you to kind of like, we're taking up arms and we're going to go like topple the government? I mean,
well, they'll never say.
Yeah, I guess I'm not allowed to say that.
I mean, we voted against all this stuff since we were old enough to vote.
We went to lots of protests. I've signed plenty of petitions. I used to fundraise for the Conservative Party. I've done door knocking for my favorite politicians. Like, I did everything they say you're supposed to do, to be active and participate in the process. And it never got us anywhere. All it got us was one day we had to decide, let's sell everything we own and start over in a new country where we don't even speak the language. That's where it got us. So when people say, oh, you're just a coward, you didn't stay and fight. Dude, I've been here for 35 years fighting. Where have you been? Right? Like, you just started 5 years ago and you think that you got anything on me? I don't think so.
Yeah.
No, it's just pointless. You can't turn it around now. It's gone. Right? It's going to get very ugly up there very soon, I think. And our goal coming down here, the biggest goal we had was to establish a safe place to go so that when our kids, if any of them, run into major problems and need to go somewhere safe to survive, that there is a place for them to go.
Yeah, you guys are like the Ark. You're the Ark.
It's pretty bleak to think of it that way, but you know, it's a mess. It is a mess up there, and 80% of Canadians would hear me say that and go, look at this asshole. Everything's fine. Canada's a free country. It's great.
Yeah.
It's not really.
Yeah. You get an infection from something, they're like, oh, we'll just kill you.
Right.
Yeah, free country. Great.
Well,
so anyway,
I know us in here in the U.S., we have our concerns that, you know, I mean, we're not anywhere near that bad yet, but, you know, it could happen, right? And people need to be diligent.
Yeah.
Yeah, not enough people have been. They all thought, oh, it's just a little thing. And that's the thing. It's death by a million cuts, right?
Yep.
And there's a lot of people that just aren't paying enough attention.
Yeah.
I think it's starting to change up there, but I think it's too little too late, to be honest.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know if you saw last week, the court in British Columbia ruled that something about 800 square miles or 800 hectares.
How about the hiking?
No. This is even worse.
Okay.
There's a large tract of the city of Richmond, BC. They said, oh no, that's native territory. There's people living there with houses with mortgages that have been there for decades, and the court goes,
That land is not owned by those people
that
anymore.
belongs to
wow.
the
No, I
natives.
had not
Belongs
heard
to
that.
the
I guess I
native.
didn't watch Canadian news, but no, I did not know
They
that.
just rendered your title to your property
Worthless.
highly suspect, if not utterly worthless, right?
Wow.
That's the court, the BC Supreme Court. What are you going to do about that?
Yeah, at
Good luck
least you got to
selling your
sell
house.
before you got out.
Right?
Yeah.
Wow.
So things like that are starting to wake a few people up. They're just so over the top.
Yeah.
How can you not? But
It's too late for a lot of people, though. Like, too
but-
late for anybody who owns land there, because if they decide, ooh, we better leave, well, good luck selling your house now.
Right.
this is a problem because the Canadian Charter that came in the 70s, when we should have been fighting back when we were single digit years old, apparently. It actually doesn't guarantee the right to private property
No.
in our charter, which is basically our constitution.
Mhm.
Wow.
So now how do you fight back?
You don't.
Yeah.
Like, it's a very, very flawed document.
Yeah.
And
Yeah. You
That's
guys
the
are
thing
making
that a lot of Americans don't understand. We like, I have a ton of American friends, and they're all kind of under the impression that Canada is sort of like America Light, right? But your constitution is very robust, but the Canadian version of it is not at all. They call it the Charter of Rights and Freedoms, but there's a lot of things not guaranteed in there to start with, but also they have a thing called a notwithstanding clause, which means you get all of these rights, but if for any reason the court or government deems that it's more in the public interest to violate those rights, we can do that.
we can do that, notwithstanding everything we just said.
Yes.
That's the
There's
notwithstanding
a clause right in there for that. So it's sort of like they just kind of, we'll just call a mulligan on that one this time, and we'll do whatever we want. And you're right.
You can have all of that unless we change our mind.
Yep.
Just whenever they want to, though, arbitrarily. Yes.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah.
It's really
I can't
something.
imagine. Yeah. It's not a very free environment for sure.
No. And lots of Americans don't realize, lots of Canadians don't realize that. I know lots of Canadians that think that they have protections like Americans do, and they do not.
Too much American TV.
Yeah. Yeah.
So anyway.
Love it, but it doesn't educate you, right?
No.
Yeah. Canada's beautiful too. I mean, it's a shame.
Mhm.
It's a beautiful country.
It's true.
And I haven't really done much of the eastern side, but we've been over in like the western and up in all the way up in like the Yukon and all those areas up
Nice.
there.
Oh, wow.
It's
Nice.
there. Yeah.
Mhm.
Well, so tell me, I'm just curious, kind of, as you guys fled Canada here and down to where you're at now. I mean, how did that impact your relationship, good or bad? Was it is this something that kind of brought you guys closer together, or did it cause a little? I'm sure it had to cause some amount of stress. You're picking up your whole life and doing something.
I would say
different.
we've been very tight for a long time, since long before we came down here.
Mhm.
It does add a lot of stress. There's no question about it. And
But
we're
that's
both
all external stress.
we're both the type of people that can have a temper and blow up, which has always been the case. And you have moments that you do that, and we get over it and move on, just like we always have.
Yeah.
I would say we're as closer as we were before we came down.
Yeah, we were actually really fortunate when COVID hit and they did real lockdowns where we lived, right? Like, I had to get a letter from my company giving me permission to drive to work because you couldn't even be on the road, kind of lockdowns, right? But I was considered essential service, so I had to go into the office to work. But so a lot of people during that time, you saw stories about it all the time, marriages breaking down. People just could not stand being stuck in their house with their spouse for that kind of time, right? It was so much stress and so out of the ordinary, and they just weren't used to spending that much time together. But for us, it was like, when I finally got permission to work from home, it was the best thing ever. And that's when we started our YouTube channel. It was because we were locked in the house. We're kind of bored. We want stuff to. We had a ton of board games. We love playing board games, but you can only play so many board games before you get tired.
COVID was very good to YouTube, from what I understand.
Mm.
A lot of YouTubers blew up during COVID.
Yeah, it worked for us. So, I mean, for us, it actually kind of cemented our relationship. got really good at spending time together. We always really enjoyed it anyway, but for us, it was not a struggle at all. Like Mike he loves to be home anyway, right? Like if he doesn't have to go out, he's perfectly content with that. And we've always enjoyed each other's company, so it was never a problem
all
for
my
us.
things are here.
So, but like moving here, I think it might have actually made things stronger, partly because aside from the stress, the external stress of all the move and everything around it, the thing is when we came down here, we're all we have. Like we didn't know anybody. We'd never been to Costa Rica before. We knew nothing, right? I mean, we'd done some research, so we didn't just come completely blind, but we didn't know anybody when we came here. And we didn't buy property right away, so we were traveling around the country kind of trying different places out. So we were kind of like all we had, and my daughter's here too, so between the three of us, and not speaking the language right away, like we're still learning as we speak right now, it can be isolating, but it also gave us an opportunity to kind of rely on each other even more, and that worked out for us, right? It kind of created solidarity sort of thing.
Yeah, I was actually kind of shocked at the number of people who seemed to be at each other's throats while they were locked down. It was that aspect of it was far worse than I anticipated. Like I expect some stress, and not everybody can spend all that time together. I knew that, it mentally, but I didn't really viscerally feel like it was going to be as bad as it was for so many people.
No, because we always liked each other, right? Like we weren't in the kind of. I mean, if he had been with his ex-wife, they would have killed each other for sure, right? Like you can't spend 5 minutes.
Allegedly.
Okay. You can't spend 5 minutes in the room with that woman without wanting to kill her. That's for sure.
How long have you guys been together?
Since February 2006.
Yeah.
So that's very specific. February 2006.
Yeah.
I like
I
that.
remember meeting.
Yeah.
Right? Like we remember the day we met. So that was it.
Nice.
So,
I don't it was, obviously it's very different here in the US during COVID. I mean, we had the kind of like 2 weeks to stop the spread, which really turned into like how many years. But in terms of like a lockdown, like not really so much a thing. We there was, when they asked for the initial 2 weeks, we were like, okay, yeah, because nobody really knew at that point like really what was happening, right? And I was like, well, we'll kind of stay home for 2 weeks and minimally moved about. But as that kind of went on, we actually used the opportunity to travel a bunch of the US, and it was awesome because there was almost nobody moving around. And we kind of like moved into the spring and the summer, like we got out and saw all sorts of areas of the US we'd never seen before and like had them to ourselves, and like it was fantastic.
Well, the first 2 weeks it was easy to stay home because I contracted COVID the day that they initiated the lockdown. I came home and I was sick, and Rob's like, "Don't tell anybody."
Yeah.
Nobody really understood it at that point, right? Like,
yeah, I know. Yeah, because I'm sure it was not as bad in the US as it was in Canada. But yeah, I mean, we certainly had neighbors that were like freaking out about it. And it's like, if they hear that somebody in a house has COVID, are they going to show up with pitchforks and be like, you just don't really know what to expect, Yeah.
I think the reaction in the US was a lot more varied than in Canada.
What state are you guys in?
I'll
just keep that to myself. But we're out there.
No problem. But
it sounded like it was a sane state, at least, right?
Well, we moved after COVID. So we used to previously, if you're asking me where we were during COVID, we were in Virginia. So we used to live in Virginia and out on the East Coast. And then kind of when all this COVID craziness happened, and we weren't fleeing the US, but it was just kind of like, life's short. Let's just move. Let's go somewhere we really want to be. And it came out. We live in a desert environment now. But,
nice.
Yeah,
well, not for me.
We don't have the humidity you guys are dealing with. Our humidity here is like single digits.
Very low humidity.
You know what? I don't mind the humidity after 50 Canadian winters.
Yeah.
I can't lie.
I think you broke up there for a minute, Mike. What did you say again?
I was just saying I don't mind the humidity after 50 Canadian winters.
Yeah.
I used to get all scaly and just cracked lips when you're sleeping. Like, just, you know what? I came down here and I've never had these problems again. And we're at a good elevation. We're about 3,600 feet above sea level.
Oh, nice. Okay.
So the temperatures are moderate. It's like spring all year round. So
That's super nice.
the humidity hits when you're working on the farm, but you shower up, you hit a hammock in the shade, and it's perfectly comfortable.
Yeah, it's fine.
Yeah. That's very cool. We're gonna have to come down there and visit one of these days. And like I said, I've never been there, but I'm sure it's a beautiful
Come
place.
on down. We have people down all the time.
Yeah, I see that. I've seen you guys posting about people coming down there and visiting. It's cool. All right. Well, let's maybe let's jump topics here, and we'll kick this one around a little bit. So, the kind of it topic of the hour on X right now seems to be this whole like men needing sex.
Seems uncontroversial to me. I don't know about you.
Same, Mike. Same. I don't know where the controversy is.
Maybe. Okay. Can we get Mike's view real quick though?
Yeah, no, absolutely. I want to hear.
Before you say too much.
Yeah.
Okay.
Sure.
Oh, look, everybody's looking at Mike now.
I got the spotlight. I mean, a little background on me. Before I got into computers, I took a biology degree, which I never used professionally, but I am educated in that field. And to me, it's absolutely not shocking or controversial at all that the male of any sexually dimorphic species has a sex drive that is high. This is how you keep the species going, right? I mean, females are naturally more selective, less driven, but obviously nowhere close to zero. Like these guys that go, "Oh, women don't like sex." Well, that's flat out bullshit.
He knows that's wrong.
Thank God. I mean, who wants a non-reactive woman under that?
They have less drive, less urgency than men, and that's just biology.
Yeah.
But so then, to be clear, you guys are not in a sexless marriage.
No.
Okay. Ginger is not complaining about advances.
No.
Because that's also very, topical on the X these days.
No, actually, I constantly get hate from people whenever I post pictures of us kind of groping each other. We're very effusive in our public displays of affection.
Does that cause controversy? Hang on, let me return and touch Avis's breast here. Okay. We get some controversy going with that.
We need to sit closer together, apparently.
Yeah.
I was motorboating.
Oh, the motorboating photo that I posted just the other day. I posted a picture of that one got me some hate for sure. And I lost 20 followers that day.
Really? I mean, how is this controversial? This is the thing that just blows me away, that like a married couple
that should be private, but for us, like, we're kind of exhibitionists, right? So like, if it wasn't illegal, we might even just have sex in public. That would be fine. Right? I mean, selectively. I'm not going to do it in front of kids or anything. That's just kind of gross.
Right situation.
Selective public sex, Rob.
But I think, so this like just one of my like things that I wonder when I ponder about X, right? And whatever, in any social media and any of this stuff, I think it's hard sometimes, I think, for people to interpret like, do we want to talk about, like, anybody can talk about anything, right? And we can say, hey, this is what I believe, and this is like, but if you're kind of bringing some receipts, that helps bring a little bit of validity to it, right? So like a photo or a video or like whatever of you and your husband, again, we're not saying it has to be like crazy graphic, right? Nobody wants that, right? We're not trying to like have porn on X and all that other stuff, but like bringing some kind of receipts to say, yeah, like this is the kind of relationship that we have. Like, to me, that's kind of educational and additive to the message that you're trying to give. And like, for people to get upset about that, it's just, I don't know.
Well, I'm here for the people that responded to a photo like that and said relationship goals, right? Like, those are the people I'm here for. So he lets me drive and I let him grope me, and it all works out. Right? So
it's grope you while you're driving, though, because
all the time.
I was going to say sometimes, but okay.
All the time. But okay, so I'm not letting you get away though, because what you gave was the nerd answer, and you want the nerd answer. Okay? They want the real answer.
Yeah.
How do you feel about sex with your wife?
I like it. I'm in favor. Strongly in favor. Well, I mean, I think if you're starting out in a marriage, as young people, and you're not having sex at least once a day, you're in trouble. Now, we're a lot older than that now, and we work really hard on the farm, and sometimes we're both mutually too tired. You know what I mean? Like we don't have sex 2-3 times a day anymore. Ain't nobody got time for that.
Yeah.
But we're still physically affectionate all the time, every day.
Yeah, there's no lack of desire.
Whether we're exhausted or not, we're still grabbing each other and kissing each other. And then, and then maybe by the time you get to the bed, you're like, it happens, right?
That's true. That's right. The thing is, the mind is willing, but the body is weak, right?
Yeah. No, we can empathize. I mean, how old are you guys?
I'm 52. You're 54. I'm almost 52. Yeah.
Okay, so we're pretty similar. I'm 52. Avis is 51. But I don't know if you guys. I mean, we're kind of like similar. I mean, we still very much enjoy each other. Enjoy
2 o'clock every day. I think I'm gonna have sex that night. 8 o'clock every night.
Right, that's what I was saying. It's like that's where I was trying to go. Is it like sometimes it's like, yeah, we're gonna have sex, but we got to do it by like 4 or 5 p.m. because bedtime's like coming at like 7:30 these days. Sometimes
we've gotten to the point now where we just kind of find the days when we have like an early rain shower. It's like, okay, let's go back and do it at lunchtime before we get too tired, right?
Yeah.
So we want to, but it has gotten harder. Like, which is sad because when we had kids, right? Like it was always inconvenient, but we did it anyway. But now we have no kids around. We could do it whenever we want. It's like, oh yeah, but I gotta go. What did I make you do today? Dig a new compost pile. Oh, great. That's sexy. But I mean, that's reality. The thing is, we still really enjoy each other's company. We're still always touching, right? Like the physical contact's always there. Always kissing, always stroking each other, right? Or just sometimes it's too hard to muster the energy for more than that, but we always want to. And there's times when we'll just make the extra effort, even though we're exhausted, because we still enjoy it, right? Like you have to want it. That's the important part, right? Like if you can't always make it work.
Yeah, that's the thing. I mean, if the frequency is dropped because you're tired and you're older, that's one thing. If your frequency is dropped because you're frigid or you don't like each other, these are really kind of two separate scenarios.
Yeah, in
my mind.
Lots of couples, they build up resentments, all these little petty resentments, and they don't actually like each other. So you can't muster the energy or desire to go hump in the backyard for the afternoon if you don't actually even like each other, right? So we don't have that problem at all. So that's where I think it matters the most. Part of the problem with the discourse is, so there's 2 things I've noticed about the discourse around this, and Lila Rose was the one that spawned this one in the last week, right?
Yep.
You have the kind of the left-hard ones that think sex is gross and anything that makes men happy is bad, right? So you have those women, right? And then you have the church ladies, right? That look at it through kind of if you ask me, we're not religious people, right? So I can't speak on theology very well, but it seems to me a bit of a kind of a warped idea of the biblical ideas of what marital sex should be about. And they kind of use it as an excuse for frigidity, right? So that's the 2 sides that I see that are kind of on the opposite side of where we are, where it's sort of like, sex with your partner is great, make it interesting, right? Like find excuses to do it and like keep it wild. So we do all kinds of stuff that lots of married couples would never do. It's just to keep it interesting, right? That's how you keep it interesting.
Yeah. Avis and I, a while back, we were having a discussion. My my brother, he was dating a girl for a while, had a couple years.
3
years. And he was just head over heels about her. And like when I would talk to him, he was like, oh, like she'll do anything sexually. And I'm like, I feel like Avis and I are pretty adventurous, you know, and I'm
I
like,
thought so.
but like, it was like, I don't, what is anything? Like maybe there's this line out here that like, I don't even know exists, right? Like I'm just I'm living in some kind of.
We've been married for 30 years. What is this dating man like? What is he learning? Like we're just cut off from.
It reminds me of the Seinfeld episode with like the twist or like whatever.
Yeah.
You guys remember that episode?
Yeah.
You want to know what is anything, but this is your brother-in-law or your brother, and you're like, no, I don't really want to know.
I'm not really going to go there, but
no. So I'm like, I mean, I thought I did anything, but do I do everything?
I don't know. Is Rob content with what you do? Because that's really all that matters, right?
Yeah.
Maybe everything for him is just, you know,
I mean,
I
could be blissfully unaware. Yeah,
as long as you're blissful,
right. I did want to look back what you're talking about, you know, with like the religious angle, right? And like I have too noticed that, and I, you know, I come from I don't know. I mean, my mom, like growing up, she was Jehovah's Witness. We were Mormon. We were like you name it. Like I've been in there, right? And like, and I very much like believe in God, you know, and I believe in creation and all those sorts of things. But I'm very like, don't call me religious. That's just going to piss me off, right? Because like I don't like that. I used to pretty regularly attend church. I don't do it anymore because I got frustrated. It just a lot of the. I know everybody says it's hypocrisy, and I hate saying that, but in a lot of ways it is true. And there's a lot of just shaming in church and those sort of things that I think is very counter to the message that I would say that Jesus was bringing, right? So we stopped going to church. I don't go to church anymore and any of that stuff. Avis, she came from heathens, basically. So, but I think, you know, for our marriage, like this is something I was kind of noticing, just exactly what you were talking about and watching this debate is like a lot of these women that come from these very religious environments where they were kind of shamed into like, well, sex is dirty. Like, what do you mean give my husband a blowjob? What? Like, no, that's shameful. Right. And Avis didn't come from that. Right. So like her, you know, any kind of Christian, you know, I don't really know what I'm trying to say here, religious
repression,
whatever, like anything she knows about that came from me, not from her childhood and not from her parents and that sort of stuff. So but you're right. Yeah. She wasn't repressed in any of those ways in terms of that. And I think that's been very good for our marriage. And I feel for these couples that are in that situation where it's like, they just have this mental block because the church, wrongfully so, is like, you know, I would say like in your marriage, like there's no boundaries. I don't think, like if you guys are good with it, you're good with it. Right. And like, but the church kind of being that shaming force over is.
Thing is,
I've had a couple of knee-jerk reactions just from society, you know, probably like, do you want to try this? And I'm like, oh, never. And he's like, wait, let's talk about this. And, you know, eventually I'm like, all right, fine. I will try it. And most times I like it. But, you know, I've had a couple of like, you want to do what? Oh my God.
I've never had this problem. That's never been a problem for us. But I mean, I think, I don't know that it's so much the church. I think it's the people, right? Like the thing about the church is there's what like I used to be religious, right? So I've read the Bible a few times. There's what the Bible says, and then there's the interpretation that everybody puts on it that kind of reinforces their biases, right? And I think that, so a while ago, I can't remember how long ago, I did have another post on X that went a little bit viral where I saw someone who is religious, again, bring up the whole sex and marriage thing and like frigid and cold marriages, right? And I just tried to, I have a lot of religious friends, so I'm very respectful. I'm not your God-hating type atheist at all, right? So I understand the purpose of religion and why some people feel better when they have it in their life, right? So I have respect for that. But so I try to bring up certain subjects gently because I don't want to be disrespectful. Sure. But one of the points that I tried to make was, if the church or religious people want to talk about dead marriages, they need to address the problem they have with the way they talk about sex.
Yep. 100%.
Right? Because the way, when they include shame. And don't get me wrong, shame is a very useful tool, and I believe that it's not used enough, right? For certain things. But if you're married to each other and you're staying within your relationship, pretty much anything else should be fine, right? Like there shouldn't be anything else that the church has to say about whatever else you do. And I mean, I have friends that are swingers, right? And if it's consensual and everybody understands and knows the rules, then it's not our thing, but whatever, right? You do you. As long as there's no lying or cheating involved, I don't have anything to say about it, right? So the church, as far as I'm concerned, doesn't take a healthy look at sexuality, right? And that's one of the biggest reasons that dead marriages come about, I think, and why there's a lot of dead marriages in the religious sector, because men don't feel comfortable asking for what they want. Women, when their man asks them for what they want, have like a disgust response that creates shame for him, and then he closes off, and then she closes off because he suddenly doesn't desire her anymore because he's not sure what's okay to ask for, right? Like it's a huge, terrible cycle. And I think a lot of it has to do with the way the church talks about these things. I think they really need to work on that a lot.
Yeah. I think there's this very real dynamic out there of, you got what you're talking about, right? Where you've got the wife, for whatever the reason is, she's apprehensive or opposed to certain behaviors from her husband, whether that's a very high sex drive or certain sexual acts or behavior or whatever it is, right? And then you kind of couple that with the state being involved in marriage and the husband kind of understanding that if he pushes his wife to a point or says something that she's not good with, she has the opportunity to just kind of pull that ripcord and say, you know what, I'm out of this marriage. And so these husbands, they don't speak up necessarily. And a lot of them are kind of suffering in silence. And I think that was very kind of like, to me, that was like the thing that was really like just being called out with this whole like men don't need sex thing, was just like, yeah, just shut up. Like you don't need sex. Right. But like, that's not the truth. But a lot of men don't feel like they can say it, right? Because their wife, it might piss them off. And next thing you know, they're going to find themselves in divorce court or something. Right.
The other side of this we mentioned briefly was the political. Did you see that there was a headline going around X the other day? It's an older one. I've seen it before, but the article was about your man giving you an orgasm. It's all about him and why that's bad. Did you see this?
Please
I saw the headline.
I did read the headline.
Yeah.
Why? You're having an orgasm. If he is having fun too,
it's supposed to be a duel.
Who is the victim here? That's what I want to know. Why is this a bad thing?
It's a victimless crime,
right? But so you have this political, in this case, feminist.
That's the feminist
problem
thing. Yeah, anything that men enjoy is bad, even if the women enjoy it too, right? Like,
right? Yeah.
Well,
I don't want to live on this planet sometimes. So like, it's like people will say and get published saying
crazy,
the dumbest things.
That's crazy.
Right? It hurts. It really hurts.
Yeah, right. And it's like it gets published for some agenda or belief they're trying to lull people into believing. And it's crazy. Yeah, I don't.
Families.
That's why I love having these conversations, because like why can't we just talk about the reality of what is, right? We have like, everybody has what they wish was, and that's fine. But why don't we talk about the reality of what is, and then maybe we can talk about how to get what we want, right? And what's the thing? And I think, just kind of to your point, Mike, like, yeah, I mean, I would personally have no problem saying like, yeah, I sexually objectify my wife. That's part of what gets me off, right? Like, I'm like that, but that's the truth of it, right? But like, you say that to some feminist or views out there, and it's like their head just explodes. But the truth is, that also is kind of what gets Avis off in some ways, right? Because she likes being the object of that. So like, why can't we say that? That's just the truth of how it is.
If I walk by and my butt doesn't get smacked,
right?
We're in trouble. Yeah.
What kind of wife wants a husband who does not desire her and doesn't express it, right? Like,
wildly desires.
Yeah.
It's not healthy.
Yeah.
No, it really isn't. And I mean, The thing is, I often will get critical statements from people and called out by certain puritanical types that it's wrong for me to share these things, right? And to be fair, sometimes I overshare. I'm sure it makes people uncomfortable.
We all do to a degree, I'm sure.
The thing for me is, when I'm sharing these things, I will often get messages privately from people, mostly ladies, because I don't usually entertain those kinds of messages from men, but from ladies that come from a background that, like, their family didn't talk about these things. They were often in religious families that sex was just not the topic that you talked about. So they learned almost nothing. They're having trouble feeling comfortable being sexual with their new husband or their new partner or what have you. But they want to be. They know he wants that. They want to have a good relationship and a good dynamic. They see the dynamic we have. They want to feel that confident, but they don't even know where to start. And they don't have anybody in their circle, no family, no friends, because they're all also very repressed, that they can feel comfortable talking about this to, right? Like, if you come from a religious background and all your friends are religious people, how do you ask them, how exactly should I approach giving a blowjob to my husband? Right? Like, these women don't feel comfortable asking those questions. So they'll send a message to me and say, I saw that you were talking about it and I really could use your advice, because they know that I'm open to it and I'm not going to be judgmental about it. So I am here for those women. And if you don't like that I talk about giving my husband a blowjob openly on X and you think that should remain private, please take your repression somewhere else, right? If your relationship's perfect and you don't need that advice, please, I'm so grateful. I'm happy for you. But I'm not going to stop, because I know there's women in particular, and men, who are out there suffering in relationships. And it's not because they don't want to, it's because they don't even know where to start. Right? Like, they just haven't learned how to do that. They haven't learned how to talk about it. They come from a place where they were never made to feel comfortable that they could talk about it. So I feel really bad for people like that, because they mean well.
I wonder if this is a thing that's gotten worse over our lifetimes, because I'm now at the age that my grandparents were when and my grandmother was like Baptist, go to church every Sunday, until she died, pretty much. But I'm at the age they were when I remember Grandma opening a Christmas present under the tree every year, and it was
a teddy,
red and black lingerie. But she was religious, at least to the extent of going to the Baptist church every Sunday.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And she clearly was still desired by my grandfather in their 50s.
Well, I heard that story from when they were in their 70s, where he had a heart attack and she delayed calling the ambulance because she was in a nightie, like in a teddy. They were in the middle of something. She had to change first before she called the ambulance, right? Like, so they were hot to trot, plenty, right? But religious.
So the church didn't dissuade them. Now, were they bad Baptists, or was the message from the church different? Like, what's changed? I don't know.
I knew an older, they were in their 70s and they were also Baptist, and they were really cute. They would hold hands, this man and this woman. And I was very young, in my early 20s at the time, and I implied, like, why are you holding hands? And she said, honey, we still get down in the bedroom. And I was like, it was eye-opening for me. I was like, oh, sex continues into your 70s.
Yeah, I hope so. I mean, so. It better.
I was young and dumb, clearly.
Now she's just old and dumb. I don't
know. Why do you keep him?
Because he does that thing she likes.
Oh, there we go.
Yeah, he does the thing I like, for sure.
Yeah, that Seinfeld thing I learned on Seinfeld, wherever that was.
Yeah. But I think you hit on something earlier when you talked about, at the end of the day, you might not have the energy to get down in the bed, but you keep the energy alive all day long. And I think that's really important. And I think also, like, your circle of influence, just hanging out with people that talk positively about sex, that enjoy sex, that are spreading the news and, comparing notes on how to do a blowjob or something like that. Like, that's how people learn. And I think you're right. Like, we need to be talking about it and open about it. And, I like it when Rob smacks my butt and I tell all my friends that.
Ginger's always happy to be an example, and she likes it best when it's a good example instead of what not to do.
Some people don't think it's a good example, but it works for me. I'm having a really good time.
Yeah.
But I mean, the thing is, it just, when you keep the affection going, it makes it easier to like each other for normal things too, right?
Yes.
Like, there's lots of times when I'll just look right over and say, "You're so handsome," right? Just out of the blue for no reason at all. And it makes him happy. And then we can,
the older I get, the happier it'll make me.
But the thing is, it smooths out the harder parts sometimes too, because it buys you grace, right?
Yeah.
Like when you, and I can be very annoying, right? And I can be a real challenge to be around. So these are the ways that I buy grace, right?
No, I think that's 100% right. I just made a post, I don't know if it's today or yesterday or sometime recently. I was kind of saying that same thing. It's like good sex and a good sexual relationship in a marriage. It fixes and kind of makes 90% of the things that become problems not problems, right?
It doesn't leave room to focus on the negatives.
Yeah.
Yes, absolutely.
So it is always kind of a good tell, like when, you see couples that are having trouble and all that, like at some level, that's the sex is underlying that in some way, right?
Absolutely, for sure. And Avis, you hit on a really important point that I don't think gets enough attention, and that's your circle of influence. So the kind of friends that you make and the kind of people you spend your time around. I follow a gent named Private Eye Russ.
And I know who he is. Russ,
so you know Russ.
I don't know him, but I follow the account. Yeah.
He and I don't agree a lot on a lot of things, but a lot of things we do. And I understand where he's coming from. But some of the stories he has about some of the clients and some of the people that he catches in the act, and how common it is for women who have friends, like a friend group that's filled with either single women or women who cheat a lot or who are unhappy in their marriage, and how it interferes with their own marriages and how it just kind of breeds cheating, right? Cheaters. If you have people like that in your sphere, you're not going to be happy in your relationship, because women love to sabotage other women. That's kind of the thing, right? Like
100%.
They're terrible for it. So if you have a bunch of friends that you hang around, like for any man, the best advice I could give him is pay attention to your girlfriend or your wife's friends, because if those women bitch about their husbands or cheat on their husbands or boyfriends or what have you, or are single and constantly complaining all the time about men, you got to get those women out of your wife's life, because you will get divorced soon, right? Like it's inevitable. Right? It just bleeds out. Misery loves company. So, I mean, our friends, mostly we only have a couple friends, and only a couple friends that actually like each other. Like, I don't like to get into those. Like, it's sometimes back in the day when we had kids, I had lots of opportunities for the wine mommy night, right? Where all the married women get together and bitch about their husbands over wine, and I attended exactly one of those, and I couldn't stand it. I just had to leave. And
no, she wound up going for coffee with the 70-something car guys at the one dude's garage every Tuesday or whatever.
I was invited by the old engineers and mechanics for coffee, Thursday afternoon coffee, and those are my peeps, right? Like, because I don't need to sit around and drink wine with the girls and complain about how stupid my husband is, because I don't even
Everybody can see how stupid your husband is. What's the point?
I get in trouble in those groups because I don't complain. A friend just called me the other day and I answered on speaker, and she goes, "You're going to have to start complaining about Rob, because I'm calling to complain about my husband and you never complain about him." And I was like, "Did you hear that? Did you hear that?"
No friend or family member of mine has ever once heard me complain about my husband.
And she's got complaints.
I have complaints. We fight, but there's struggles, right? But I talk to him about it, right? Like, that's how it should be. You should I understand that some things are larger, and there's some people that need to reach outside of their relationship for advice, right? I'm sure there's times when that's appropriate, but I think way too many people do it way too frivolously, and all it does is invite interference and conflict into your relationship, because most people outside, they either have their own agendas, they have their own biases, right? Or they're only hearing your side too, right? Like they can't be.
Frivolously is an important word there. I don't need to hear from Avis that Rob leaves his underwear somewhere inappropriate. I mean, this is a trivial thing. Maybe it drives her nuts.
Good luck if I'm even wearing them. I don't know.
Oh wow!
but that's the thing, right? Like,
yeah,
you're spilling your guts about every tiny stupid thing.
Yeah,
And we've all got tiny stupid things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think there's a fine line. Like you guys have a great relationship, and let's say Ginger and I, we like start a friendship, and I say to Ginger, "Hey, I need some advice on how to deal with X, Y, and Z," right? Like I'm asking for advice. I'm not trashing my marriage. We need, like you said, the circle of influence there
mm-hmm.
of strong married sexual people to be like, "Hey, how do I get this done, or how do I get that done?" And
Mm-hmm.
I think that's a stark difference to complaining. Like that's just support
Yes,
relationship, and you want what's best for me and I want what's best for you, and but that's really hard to find.
it is. It is, and this is where I get into trouble when I say it's that's a woman thing.
Yeah.
Women by
Oh,
nature
absolutely.
are bitches. They're the
Yeah.
worst, right?
I
Like
say it
it's
all
true.
the time.
A lot of what the red pillars say about women is absolutely true, right?
yeah.
Like I have a very hard time making and keeping female friends because most of the time they'll stab you in the back in a heartbeat, right? And they tend to be really petty and passive aggressive. I'm a lot like a guy.
She's just aggressive.
I'm
Yeah.
a straight up aggressive, right? But like I don't play mind games ever. I don't talk in circles about anything. I'm very direct. I say what I'm thinking. I say what I mean. It's like Mike never has to try to figure out what I'm trying to convey because I'm very direct about it, which most women aren't and can't handle, right? Like if you're this whole thing yesterday where I just talked about that poor girl Riley's posture and the shit I took for that, right? Because I happen to be honest about it. But I'm like, so many people are lying to this girl saying, no, you're perfectly fine the way you are. Just stay the way you are. You're super,
This is
super
like the
adorable.
whole women thing. Like, yeah,
but
cut
I'm
your
like,
hair. You look great with short hair.
It's not working for her. She's not succeeding in what she's trying. Every person in that room is laughing at her. So you telling her that everything she's doing is fine is not being nice to her. You're not being kind to her. And I'm not saying hammer the poor girl and make her feel like trash. What I'm saying is if a few kindly said things that say, perhaps you could work on this, or perhaps you could change this, that is being kind. But women can't handle that. Most women can't handle that. So I have a really hard time being friends with women. And they also, when they want to bitch about their husbands or boyfriends, they want you to do it too, so that they don't feel alone in it. But I'm not going to do that. You're not going to hear me complain about my husband ever, ever. I don't even know what you would do that would make me go outside and complain about you to somebody else. Well, maybe if you slept around, that would be probably one thing. But.
That's worthy. That's worthy.
I think you nailed it, which is, it's like you just have those conversations with your spouse, right? I mean, that's what you guys sound like you do. That's what we do. Like, not that we are not perfect. Believe me, stuff happens that like, it's like, yeah, this is a problem, but we talk about it amongst ourselves and work it out. Like, I don't have to go, I'm not seeking outside counsel or, any of that stuff, right? We're just working it out between us. And you guys sound like you're very similar.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I've never been much for therapy culture at all. And that's what it is, right? When you start reaching out to other people, even if it's not a therapist, right? You're treating your friends, you're treating your family like your therapist. But the problem is they're never going to come at it with the right lens ever, because they're not in your relationship with you, right? They don't know all the background. They don't know everything that's going on. So nobody's ever going to be able to really give you good sound advice. I mean, there's some advice that's kind of obvious where if you show up with a black eye and I say to you, sweetie, you need to leave, you need to leave that. You can't stay and put up with it, right? That's pretty sound advice. And I feel confident giving that advice, but those are extremes for your average picadillos, right? Like I can't figure out why
he does this or doesn't do that.
Why does he always drink the milk out of the container instead of getting a glass? I don't want to hear about that. Right?
Not this guy.
Not this guy.
I don't even drink milk.
That's a made up example.
Yeah. Oh yeah. No, I don't even know what I don't know. I don't have any complaints about you. Not really. You're pretty
And if you did, you wouldn't share them publicly.
That's right. Exactly. Yeah. Exactly.
Cool.
Yeah.
Well, I appreciate you guys getting on with us. I know we're kind of going a bit, so we'll wrap it up. I did wanted to share one just quick anecdotal thing you made me think about with Private Eye Russ, and that he'd made a post a while back that just like blew my mind. That whenever he's about to enter into a sexual relationship with a girlfriend, he has a document that she must sign. And did you see this post when he made this?
I think I probably did.
Yeah. And like on this post, it's like, I will sexually do this and this and this. And I have to like check the boxes of all the things that I'm okay with in terms of like sexual. And it's like, I get it. I get doing what he does and why he would do that. But I just, in my mind, I was like, wow. Like, I just can't imagine. It's like, it just kills the mood, right? You're like,
it's not the kind of relationship I would ever want. No. I like to be more spontaneous and I want it to be more natural, right? Yeah. Not compelled kind of thing. I do understand where he's coming from, right? Like he's seen a lot more.
100%. I get it. I understand why. Yeah.
Like I could never be in a relationship where I felt the need to be that cynical as he is, but I do understand why he's cynical. Yeah. Especially, and men do have a really rough road because there is a lot of legal jeopardy for them, like a lot. The system is not currently designed to be fair to men in 100%. A lot of situations, and some of it can be like life shattering, right? Like you get with the wrong girl and you ask her to do something that she later regrets, and suddenly you're in jail and it's called rape. Right? Like,
that is the whole reality of it. Yeah. I mean, that
I understand where it comes from, but I'm sad that we are there.
Yeah.
Right. Like it would not be if he brought that to me, the answer would be, that's just not for me. I mean, you do you, whatever works for you, but that's not for me. I don't, it's not even that it's pressure or stress. It's just, it's approaching a relationship with this cynical tone that to me would just kill the vibe for me, right? Like I'm not a overly cynical person, and I find cynicism really toxic. It can be, right? And that just kills my vibe completely. So for me, it wouldn't work out, but like I understand why some men feel the need, and I would really love to change the societal system we have right now that makes this feel necessary.
Well, let me ask you just kind of a parting question here.
Sure.
Just to get your thoughts on it, like it's kind of like a summary of like, what do you think the answer is? Like what fixes all this crazy relationship crap?
Oh, I have a list. I've actually even shared the list a few times. Okay. I guess actually most of what my list consists of is making women more accountable for their behavior. Making women as accountable for their behavior as we seem to want to make men. Right? And that goes for things like eliminating no-fault divorce. I think we should get rid of that, or at least definitely rework it, right? Like the no-fault thing is a mistake. There's good reasons to divorce, but I think we should narrow what those are, right? The whole just whenever you want to because you don't feel fulfilled, it's probably not a good reason to destroy your family. Child support and alimony, I would get rid of completely. And I mean, maybe replace it with a system that was made a little bit more sense, but I prefer prenups, like preemptively. Everybody should have a prenup, right? From the very beginning, it should be mandatory. Set up the terms of what your marriage are and abide by it, right? And make it kind of, I'm torn on that because I don't love the state being involved. a lot, but they are right now, and you can't really get around it. Somebody at some point is not going to follow the rules, and you're going to need to find a way to enforce
You can't get the state out because women are physically weaker, and if you remove the state, then men will just.
Well, this is where you get into the whole thing. Like, we're not going to go down that road because it's going to take us way too long. But that, like, repeal the 19th when they talk about it in the U.S., right, and getting women out of voting, like, that's where that whole track ends up going. What Mike's alluding to.
Episode 2.
Well, I mean, so there's a lot behind that argument that makes sense to me. Okay, but also there are reasons that things have turned into the way that they are, right? And the movement to give women more autonomy and power and like kind of sexual liberation, I don't agree with the way this has turned, but I understand some of the factors that made that likely, right? Like, for example, in I think the 1800s sometime in Italy, for example, a woman who got raped was no longer marriageable, right? Mm-hmm. But the man who raped her could get out of going to jail if she married him.
Yeah.
Well, what kind of system is that? That's not fair for women. So we went from a system like that, and this is the correction. We've way overcorrected.
Yeah. Better balance.
But things like that are the reason we kind of got to where we are now, is because they were so egregiously unfair to women in many respects.
It's like most things government touches, generally speaking, start out with good intentions, and then it just absolutely turns to shit with
all things. All things.
Yeah.
Right?
One you haven't mentioned, I know you've talked about before, is mandatory DNA tests for every baby.
Yes,
absolutely.
Agreed.
Paternity testing at birth, yes.
Yep.
Because a lot of our see, the thing is, if we did that right now, there would be this huge rash of divorces and other problems, right? But once that became the norm, what it might actually do is change women's behavior.
Yeah.
Right? Like, if you know that if you cheat and get pregnant, you're going to get caught, maybe you'll think twice whether or not you want to bang the handyman.
Of course.
Like, maybe.
Of course, the whole cost of this is now the government has everybody's DNA from birth.
Yeah, that I don't love. So I don't know. It's a trade-off.
This is not a no-brainer for me.
Yeah.
So I think if I'm hearing correctly, like, just to summarize what you think fixes it, it's government. At the end of the day, it's government kind of underlying most of these problems that we're having with relationships, and just definitely the legal.
The legal framework is definitely
generational too. Right? Like, we need to be raising our children. When you enter marriage, you are giving it your all. Like, you make all your decisions. Like, you're in it. Like, when you go into marriage, you're in it, and you need to be doing everything that you can to work it out, and everything. But
that's part of, I think, what she was getting at is like the no fault divorce. It's like you don't have to go in with that attitude.
Right.
You know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it should be way harder to get married than it is to get divorced, right? Like, right now,
way harder to get divorced than to get married.
Oh, okay. No, I think it should be hard to get married. Like, this whole drive-through at the Elvis drive-through in Vegas thing, right? Like, how many people do that and then within a year it's done, right? Like, it's way too easy to get married. People do it too frivolously now. They don't take it seriously.
My brother invited us to a vow renewal from his marriage, and like, literally we went and renewed his vows, and then like later that night we were at a pool party in Las Vegas. It was Elvis, which is what reminded me. He and his wife wanted to go do the Elvis thing, and literally that same evening we're all at a pool party, and his wife's back in the hotel room, doesn't want anything to do with him, and he's out there hitting on chicks at the pool.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it's just to your exact point, right? Like.
But this is where shame comes in, right? So this is where shame is appropriate. If you are I have a completely like fiery intolerance for cheating and lying, right? Like, if you and your wife have an understanding that you're going to step outside of your marriage and you have these rules or parameters you set up and you all agree to it, then you more power to you, right? But if you have to lie and cheat those people have a special place in hell for me, right? Like that is unforgivable. And like I've had 2 previous husbands. They were both cheaters, right? That is a no. You're dead to me if I find out. Yeah, I won't put it up with it again. That's a deal breaker, right?
Yeah.
And mostly because of the lies, right? It's not even the sex; it's about the
Yeah.
lies, right?
Yeah.
And there's
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
cheating
Avis
is one of those things that should be anybody who's a cheater should be shamed out of society completely.
Yeah, I would. We don't see eye to eye on the shame thing a little bit, but that's just because I would say I think shame is the thing that's causing a lot of this behavior personally. But what I was going to say to kind of the point you're making is, Avis would tell you like I think part of the reason she is so relaxed and at peace in our marriage is because I'm so honest. Like if I was going to go fuck some other chick, like I would tell her like, hey,
Yeah.
things have gotten to this point and this is what I see as an outlet I need to do. And she knows that.
I expect that.
So, but
Yeah.
that like a lot of couples don't have that,
Yeah.
and it's like the wife is over there kind of worrying about it or the husband's worrying about it or,
I mean, I would have to imagine, I've never been there, but there's a thought process before the action, right?
Yes.
So when you're in that thought process, as my husband, I want you to say, hey, I'm thinking hard about banging the neighbor because, X, Y, or Z that you're not giving me. I expect that opportunity to fix it first. And if that's where your thought process is going, well, then you have my full blessing and we can work on the consequences of that together.
It's the moral thing to do too, just because like maybe from my point of view, it's her problem, but maybe once I bring it to her and we talk about it, maybe it's like, I need to do a little self-reflection and say, you know what, this wasn't 100% your problem. Some of it's mine. Right. But that doesn't happen in this world of like, we're just not talking to each other and we're being deceitful and all these other things.
Yeah.
Right.
No, and I'll be very unkind and say a lot of the time that's the woman's fault because most women, they'll ask questions they don't want the real answers for.
Yeah.
Or they'll react badly when they get honesty.
Does this dress make me look fat? Yeah. Sorry.
Yeah. Then I don't want to wear it.
My husband has no trouble being complete. I never ask a question I don't want the honest answer for.
Good for you, Mike.
He's got just enough of the tism that he's going to tell me straight up. And my feelings do not
virtual high
matter.
five.
But I appreciate that because I would rather hear ugly truth than lies.
Yes.
Like lies are death for me, right? And that's where what I'm talking about when I talk about shame, Rob. Like shame for what your sexual preference is or what you want or how you desire what. No, you should not feel ashamed about that. But you should feel ashamed if you're lying to your wife and destroying your family by cheating on her, right?
Yeah.
Like you lie to your children, you steal resources from your family when you cheat because you got to pay for hotel rooms and meals and drinks for some other woman, right? Like those things, those people should feel ashamed. Society should not coddle.
Yeah. I understand.
Yeah.
I understand where you're coming from. I'm kind of thinking about it. Like, I think those things happen because there was like the wife is going to shame him if he comes to her and says, hey, can you lose 5 pounds? Right. Or this behavior you have is it's causing a problem in our marriage. And then that shame drives him because he fears that shame. Right. Like that's more where I was going with it, but I understand what you're saying.
People are made to feel ashamed of the wrong things.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's really what it boils down to.
Yeah.
But also that there is such a thing as ethics. And if you feel like your marriage is over to the point where you want to blow it up by sleeping with the neighbor, then the moral choice is to leave.
Yeah.
It's not to continue pretending with your wife, lying to her and stealing from your family's resources, right? Like, and I get why a lot of guys don't do that because the legal ramifications for doing that for them can be really costly. But the truth is,
government again.
It's true.
Yes,
it's true. But I mean, at the very least, especially if you have children, as an example to your children, you owe it to them to at least do the proper thing, right? And if you're not happy in your marriage and your wife will not listen to you and you cannot fix it by addressing it directly with her, then the only moral choice is to leave. It's not to sleep with the neighbor.
Yeah.
Right? Like,
Yeah.
I think that starts early too, though, with establishing communication early. Like asking your mate, your spouse, what do you like in your woman, and then trying to act on that as best you can, right? Like we're here to answer each other's desires. And how do you do that if you don't know? And how do you do that if you're not open to what your partner has to say?
And that's about establishing your relationship early too, right? Like what your expectations are. And if you get with someone who you're not compatible with that way, then you need to leave that
Blow it
early,
up
right?
quick.
Like, don't marry them and then have children
Right.
with them when you know. And I speak from somebody who's made this mistake, right? Like I learned some very hard lessons from my first two husbands. They were both very different, so I learned different lessons with each one. But I did learn those lessons. Some women never learn those lessons. They just keep cycling through the same man over and over and over again, same problems.
That is ultimately the most important thing, right? Is that like none of us are perfect. We're all going to make mistakes, but are we learning and are we improving and are we being self-aware about that? And I think health self-awareness is a huge part of being able to do that.
And I mean, when Mike and I met, it was super important. Like by that time, I was in enough of my self-reflective stage that I was like, okay, these are the problems that I have that I need to deal with, right? And not enough people look at themselves critically like that. So they get into a relationship and they're not willing to look at themselves critically and then get feedback that's critical from their partner so that they can understand if they're properly compatible, right? Like Mike is very honest, so it's super easy for me because, like I said, if I asked him a question, he would give me the honest answer. So we could establish very early on whether or not we were compatible. And it was just up to me if I was going to have the strength to say yes or no about going forward, right? Like that's where a lot of people fail, is they see the problem starting but they don't have the strength to say, you know what, this isn't going to work out long term, so I'm just out. Right? They just keep persisting through it, thinking, "Oh, I'm going to change him." Right? Or
you can't fix me.
Or
I'm way too stubborn.
Yeah. You know, but I mean, I understand why people get into that. I've been there, but it's really important that if you've been in a situation where you've done that, that you learn that you can't do it again, or you're just going to keep making the same mistakes over and over again.
Yeah. So. Good stuff. Well, we'll close it with that. It's I don't know about you guys, but it's getting close to 5 p.m. here, and if we're still gonna have sex tonight, like that's gonna happen soon.
I have to go put the turkeys in their house.
Really super appreciate you guys jumping on here and being our first guest we've had on a little stupid podcast, and it's a great conversation. We need to do it again.
This was a lot of fun.
Yeah, it was a lot of
fun. Yeah, us too. Thank you. Thanks for having us on. I feel honored being the first.
Yeah,
it's been a long time since
we don't know yet. We have to see where it goes.
Yeah, so let us know when it's out, and we'll share it.
Absolutely.
For better or worse. I don't know if that would be good for you.
Maybe that's what we'll title this episode. All right. Thanks, you guys, so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.